Hey Forza heads.
Your instructor is one of the finest pilots this program has ever produced. His exploits are legendary. What he has to teach you may very well mean the difference between life and death.
Here we are with another tuning guide. So one of our subscribers, Intervanti, has asked me to tune a BMW M4 competition and a 2007 911 GT3. So here we have a 911 GT3. We're on Brands Hatch, the new track that came with the latest update. Just in case anyone isn't aware, I don't think there is a track coming with the next update, but there is in June. Not sure what it is, but I'm pretty sure there isn't a track with the next update. So hope you all enjoy Brands Hatch. It's a great circuit. So we're going to jump in and tune this car now. So we're going to go custom upgrades, go to performance. We're going to skip along to the right and start with the aero. So we're going to go rear wing, front bumper. Always want maximum downforce, well generally for tracks like this especially. So transmission full, differential full control of that, and wheels will leave for now. Tyre compound, so tyres will go full tyre width, full tyre compound. Brakes we'll have because we're in S-Class, that's what we're going for. Full weight reduction, springs we don't need. Roll bars, well, they're too heavy to take at £90, so no thank you. And that, I do believe, is all of the performance grip parts, as it were. So what sort of engines do we have? So we're at 5.1 for handling. Just going to jump in and do a quick tune with this at the moment. So we can have the 4. We have the V8. So that's at a power to weight of 219. If we go to this engine, we get to, because that was 801, I do believe, was it 801? So engine swap, so that takes us to 801. It's got 562, 398, 2569, and comes in a power to weight ratio of 219. So if we leave that for now, we go over here, let's add the bits to take away weight. So we go exhaust, air filter, intake manifold. We're going to go valves, displacement, we've still got room for more. Tell you what, we're going to get rid of displacement. We'll keep it standard engine size. I'm going to go fuel system, 798. $213 at 798 standard engine, 2553 and lateral G's of 135, 140, 10.5 seconds. So let's go and look at the engine swap. 10.4 seconds, 5.7, slightly quicker 5.7, slightly quicker 0 to 60. Braking's better on the standard engine. Handling is the same. So okay. So if we add the V8, tell you what, let's go standard first and see how it is. So what do we have? Fuel, ignition, exhaust, air filter, manifold, valves. The flywheel. Got enough for the cams. Let me go drive line. And then we'll finish off with some wheels. Let's go. All that puts the power's weight to 224 there. So slightly quicker again. We've got a smidge less handling. We've actually got better braking. It was at 252, it's now at 248, I think. So we can try that. See if we can squeeze any extra weight off of it. Maybe edge of flywheel, nope. But there we go, got a power to weight of 219, I think we had 213 beforehand. So, or 214 it might have ended up on, so that's what we were looking at there. This is only a quick tune, we can try another engine if we've got time. So, with the weight of this car being sort of around 2.5, we're going to leave the tyres around 25, 26. So by the time these heat up, these are going to be up here anyway. So we'll start with them down here. So gearing, we're probably going to gear this short, as it's a more grippy, well, it's a more grippy setup, and it's a short track. So let's go 50, 75, 100, 120, 40, 60. That should do. So camber and caster and toe. So at the moment we've got this is a standard tune obviously, so the camber's fine, that camber's perfectly fine. So toe wise, if I was going to test it, I'd test it like that first if I was tuning out and I was experimenting, because that's neutral. So it's probably the best place to start. Having that will create it will create stability with the rear, but in turn it can create a little bit of understeer as well. So if we leave the rear on neutral, and then this will create a slightly faster turning response by having just positive one click on the toe. The further you go out with these, the more scrub you'll put on your tyres, so generally don't go too far. It's just 1 or 2 clicks either way, but that should help us just get a slightly quicker turn in and transition between left and right turns. So we're going to run the caster all the way up. This will just help increase the front camber when we're into the bend, so that 2.0 will probably become more like 2.7, 2.8, something like that when we're into a bend, maybe more. So yeah, we run it high. Some people go, oh, you shouldn't run it full high, but it doesn't really make a difference between 6 and 7. It's all beneficial. It's the pivoting angle between the steering column and the axle. So the more you pitch the angle, the more of a camber effect is put on the axle when you turn the wheel, because of the angle of the way the two meet, if it's more horizontal or more vertical. So that just increases the camber of the front wheels as we turn in. So roll bars, so the Porsche is quite rear heavy, so you know we don't need to go extreme with the roll bars. What we can do is, if we start with it, say, I don't want to go too soft actually, if we're going to start with it neutral, we can start with it on 20 and 20, and that's a fairly neutral place to start. Spring wise, so again this would create, just to roll you through anti-roll bars, this would create extra oversteer and slight instabilities. The further you go, the more unstable it become, but the more rotation you'll get. and the further down here the more understeer you'll kind of get, but the more stability you'll also gain. So it depends where you want this. So if you started with neutral, you can always see how it feels, and if you feel like you want it to be a bit smoother and it's a bit twitchy, especially more on the rear end, then you just drop this one down. If you feel like you're in the corner and you're getting on the throttle and it's running out of the bend rather than driving around the bend, then just turn this one up until you feel happy with it. So we're going to start with it on 20 and 20 at the moment, because like I say, the Porsche rear engine, so it's already got a bit of momentum towards the rear. So with the springs, you'd be inclined on the Porsche, I think, because the engine's in the rear, you're going to run the springs harder on the rear, which is what you probably do in the real world and if you're driving around in it. But to help control the rotation as we go into the corner, we're just going to soften the rear slightly with regard to the front, and that will just help ease the car into a corner with regards to the rear end wanting to get a bit of snap off oversteer. So ride height, we're going to run all the way to the floor, and we're just going to put the back up one click because this just helps with oversteer slightly as well. Just helps to gain rotation on the car, which is what you need ultimately for lap times, because if you can increase the rotation on the car while maintaining the grip, you'll get into the bend quicker, around the bend quicker, and out the bend quicker. You'll make all your straights quicker, braking points shorter, acceleration points earlier, everything is better. So it's all about trying to create that harmony between rotation and grip. You know, if you go beyond and it becomes a little bit slippy, as long as you're smooth on the throttle, you can still use that slip to your advantage. So springs, we're going to go like, I'd happily run my springs anywhere between, say, a third of the way up and halfway, and that's happy with me. Some cars are bouncier than others, so I mean, we're going around Brands Hatch, it's going to be a bit up and down and crests and crescents and cambers, so we're just going to run it a little bit stiffer to try and help soak some of that up, because otherwise you will get a lot of bounce. Ride height, like we just said, we're going to go one click up on the rear just to help with the rotation. Bump stiffness, so bump stiffness, that's quite soft. I'd generally be inclined to be probably seeing S-Class, if it was a heavier car, and probably set up to be a bit faster. Like if you get your cars that want to do sort of more 200, 220 mile an hour, your fast builds, then you're probably going to want to run this on 5 and 7.5. But if you're running it just around at normal S-Class sort of speeds, A-Class the same, similar setups for C-Class as well, is 4.6 and 6.9. So half of 4.6 is 2.3, added on to 4.6 is 6.9. So basically this number plus 50% equals this number. So if you were going to go to 5, this would be 7.5. Half of 5 is 2.5. 5 plus 2.5 is 7.5. So if you're in a faster car, the more sort of speed you build, the more you'll probably go up on this, because we're setting up for fast bumps, we're not setting up for the slow bumps really. We let the springs do the work for that. You know, with Forza we're just more concentrating on how we can take curves, because again, cutting corners, manipulating the racing limits and cutting over curves is always going to be quicker, as long as the car can be controlled whilst doing so. So suspension geometry, I've done the same in my other videos. So at the moment I find I do play around with this, but I just find you can go further, but 2 clicks is enough each way just to increase the rotation of the car. And it just makes the car behave a little bit better when it is rotating. So yeah, so we're going to go 0.8 and negative and 0.8 positive. So with regards to the anti-dive and geometry, anti-dive's quite good on 25, quite happy with that. I'm going to just soften the squat down to 5, just so it helps you get on the throttle a little bit earlier and manage it. It's going to help a lot on tracks like this. So yeah, we're going to run that on 5. It allows a little bit more movement between the springs and the tyres in a sense. So when you apply the throttle, the back's going to just squat a little bit as the engine power's put through and the suspension leans, and then the power's put down to the tyres. If you run this stiffer, it's going to increase the snappiness on the throttle, because your car's going to have less squat, so as soon as you put that power down, it's going to go straight to your rear tyres. So by running this softer, it just allows a little bit more time, and just allows you to actually get on the throttle a little bit earlier, which again just helps you get up the straights a little bit faster and out the corners a little bit faster. So that's where we're going to have that. Feel free to like experiment with it. Aero, we're going to go up full. We're on Brands Hatch. It's going to require quite a lot of grip. We don't really going to worry about speed. I mean, even on the home, or even on the main straight, it's mainly downhill, so you've got an uphill entrance to it but a downhill finish. So yeah, we're just going to run full downforce. Let's see how it is. So brake balance, I always run it to the rear now, and I'll always run it nowadays up to 130. I did used to run it. I do find running a softer brake is still very good. You can run a softer brake, you can lean on it a lot longer. If you're someone who wants to be late on the brakes and king of the late brakes and hold it on all the way to the last minute, braking really hard, then you probably want it softer. If you want to practice your trail braking, then you're probably going to want it harder, because this gives you better grab on the brakes at the beginning. So when you snap on the brakes and you give it a squeeze, you'll get really good tug on the brakes straight away, and then you're able to come off and just modulate the braking as you get into the corner. If you're on uphill bends, you want to practice just letting the gravity and the deceleration of the engine, when in most corners, try and just decelerate as much as you can rather than brake as much as you can. It's not all about accelerating all the way up until the last point and then braking at the last point, all the way up until the last point of braking and then getting back on the accelerator. It's all about smooth transitions. So, you know, even when you want to be braking and accelerating out of corners, you want to practice braking and accelerating at the same time, or limiting the time in transition, like especially noticeable in front wheel drive cars. If you're driving a front wheel drive car and you go heavy on the brakes, lift off, you get lift off oversteer straight away before you've even applied the throttle. And then as soon as you apply the throttle, you're going to get massive amounts of understeer, a snap back in, you're going to lose the corner completely. And it helps if you just modulate the brake as you come in, and then give the throttle a couple of blips and a couple of pushes of the throttle just as you get off of the brake, so there isn't really a transition period between braking and throttling. So yeah, just practice dual control, I suppose. Yeah, practice braking and throttling at the same time. So differential. So on the diff, I'm quite happy to have this on 0. This gives you the tightest turning circle possible, as in like if you were just standing still in a car and rotating the car in a slow circle. If you put the deceleration diff on 0 and then just change this to 100%, you will see a big increase in the turning circle of the car. I.e. like if you can just about keep in the borders of a track doing a turn circle, you turn this up, you'll be going out onto the grass with 2 wheels. So yeah, that's a shorter turning circle, that's a wider turning circle up there. So yeah, so we have that on 0, because as long as you can control the braking into a corner and you don't need the assistance, like if you're not squirming like a motorbike on its, you know, lean on its front brakes when you watch MotoGP or something, or you know, you see cars do it a lot as well, squirming under braking. That's generally when you've got not enough deceleration diff, but most of these cars are quite controlled under braking, so I don't find you need it. Acceleration wise, so I play with a certain amount of slip, so I like the wheels to slip a little bit, so anywhere between 60 and 70 I find is fine. If you're on the steering wheel, the slip can be a little bit more negative because it's a bit more harder and finite to control. So I'd probably suggest, you know, if you find it difficult on the steering wheel, try starting with something like this and seeing how you get on. And if it's still slipping, bring these two closer together like this, clicks at a time, and you'll get to a point where the car will be easier to drive. You might have lost some of the turning circle, but the car will be easy to drive. But if you find you do that and the car loses some of its turning circle, then just nip over to the aero, drop this aero down to somewhere like, I'd always keep it above what the front number is. So let's say that's on 224, let's go on 250, and that will just help increase a little bit of rotation. You've just got to be careful that in really hard fast bends, you know, how it copes with the grip, but it's, you know, it's your tune this is, so feel free to apply and deduct obviously aero as and when you please. But if you also wanted to increase the rotation again, we can just increase the stiffness on the rear with regards to the front, and that'll also help put the rotation back if you find that up in the diffs takes away your rotation. So the way the diff works is that by locking the diff off on a rear-wheel drive car, it works more this way. So that locks the diff, this is unlocked. On a front-wheel drive, it works the opposite way round. That's unlocked. Or sorry, no, well, it doesn't work. It has the opposite effect. So you'll get more wheel spin this way on a rear-wheel drive car. You'll get less wheel spin this way on a front-wheel drive car. You'll get less wheel spin low on a rear-wheel drive car, and you'll get more wheel spin low on a front-wheel drive car. So yeah, make of that what you will. So we're going to go between 60 and 70%. We're going to go on 60 for now because Brands Hatch is quite a tight circuit, so we're going to go 0. So 16 0. So I mean, we can run through that again very quickly. So we've got 25, 26, 50, 75, 100, 120, 40, 60, 2, 1.5, positive 0.1, 0, 0, and a front caster 7. We've got an even roll bar at 20. We've got 7 and 675 for the springs, 4.1 and 4.7 for the ride height, bumps at 4.6, rebounds at 6.9, and then we've got the roll centre offset at minus 0.8, rear on plus 6.8, 0.8, and then we've got 25.2 and 5.1 as a percentage of anti-geometry on the anti-dive and anti-squat features. So full aero, brakes on 47 130 and 60 on a diff. Now let's see what it does around the new circuit. So I had a little practice on this yesterday, only literally about 10-15 minutes, so it'll be interesting to get back out there. We need to do fuel and tyres. We have to make sure we've got a little bit of fuel to get round. Let's go with 4 laps, that's where it stopped, and we've got a time of 28.9, not bad. So let's have a look and start the race. So we'll see how it feels from the start. I'll try and talk you through some of the bends. I can't remember what they're all called. Top of everyone doing this. So up on a turn 1, you want to get really wide on this and late. You want to let that line pass your wheel, so you're out wide, then cut back in. Don't be too greedy on the throttle. You want to brake late using the uphill to slow you down there. I went a little bit late because I was sort of looking at the screen. Brake early for this one because it's downhill, so the momentum's against you there, and it's a real sort of late hard apex. You've got to, again, be gentle on the throttle. You can't get on it too early because it'll just pull you out to the grass. Late apex on the hairpin. You want to be wide on the opening and close on the exit, because again it closes up on you. I'll show you on the second lap what I mean. So this track's very similar. You find a lot of the entrances to the turns are very similar. You want to be wide in. Look, it can always pull you out like that, but you want to be wider in but a tighter angle at the end of the turn. So use the uphill, brake late. You can see the speed got scrubbed off really easy there. Like I say, we haven't done this too much, so I haven't done it in this car yet. So if we get around, see how we do for an out lap. So again, we're going to go late apex. Normally try and get slightly less slip, run it out to the wall, well, to the grass. See the way it just soaks up them bumps there. Nice and controlled entrance. using the curb, late up the hill, modulate the brakes, off the brakes, roll round, use second gear just to tuck the nose in. Again, early brake, late apex, don't be scared to cut the grass, don't be too greedy on the throttle because you can quite easily get out onto that stuff. This is the same, late in, it will close right in on that there, on the grass and the curb. Just managed to stay on. The setup feels pretty good. Making progress. Braking too early for that one. Excuse me. But yeah, look, so it's all late apexes and tight. You see the way the exits are all tight on this track. It's the same on this one. Look, watch. So you've got a wide entrance, but if you get too greedy on the throttle, it will send you right out there. So we'll go around once more. And go late in, controlled, use fourth. We're going to go third this time down the hill, just try and keep it on the track. There you go. We're going to go up the hill. Once we get here, we're going to roll. Look, just roll, no brakes. Second gear, on the throttle smooth. Third, early shift. Brake early, find the apex. It's fine, we've got a bit of extra rotation there, we're able to ride it out. Late on this, again, use the uphill momentum slow, no brakes now, look, no brakes, just applying throttle slowly. A bit early, but better than last time. And we're going to go, keeping the apex tight there, so you get such a better entrance, because all the exits close up on you. We're going to try and brake late into this one this time. I'm going to go on the whiteboard now. That's better. Well, we've taken a bit of grass, but we managed to keep away from the penalty. Using the momentum out and in to get round there. We're flying now. Use all the road, just try not to get swept out. What do we get? We've got a 27.2. 127.2. That's not bad at all. So that there is a pretty good tune on a Porsche. Let's have a bit of a drink. So that felt pretty good. Again, if you find, I mean, that's a fairly demanding track for turn wise, because like I say, the exit's all tight. So if you find you want to create a little bit of extra rotation, then just edge this up a little bit. You know, if you find you want a little bit more speed and rotation, just edge this down a little bit. But again, the lower you go, the more you'll sort of lose mid-corner. Like only on corners where you're really flying it in and out of, like, and you get a quick turnaround, you might just get a bit more of a flick on your back end, or you know, on a long corner when it tightens just at the end, at the crucial point. So yeah, but you just edge it down until you feel comfortable with it. And again, like we said about the diff, if you want a little bit more slip, just ease it up a little bit. If you want a little bit more control into the bend, like if you're on a wheel or something like that, steering wheel, then just edge this one up a little bit. And that looks like a pretty good start point for that tune. So what we will do quickly, because we've got a little bit of time, is we're going to a custom upgrade, and we shall see what the V8 felt like. The supercharger. So our lateral G's, I think we're at 145. Were they? Let's have a quick. Let's have a quick check up. No, 144. So as you can see, there we go. We have a quick look. 2756 105, 136 144, 245 for braking. See if we can remember some of that at least. So you'll be alright because you can rewind it and look. We got engine swap, quick refresh, 2756 105. 2756 105, 2858 105. Oh, that's just slow, isn't it? It's got more horsepower. It's got more power to weight. But it says it's slower. So proof's in the pudding, I suppose. See if we can't edge some of that slowness off actually. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. It's 2657 10.5, when it was at 10.4. Braking's the same. Lateral G's are only one down, 144 to 143. So we'll give it a go and we'll see what the difference is. Generally find if you swap an engine there's not really too much difference, but we'll keep the tune the same. And the only thing we'll look at is gearing, because sometimes if you change the engine, oh, we're in the wrong one. If you change the engine, the gearing changes. So there you go. Like I said, what's that? 5381. So that might account for the slightly difference in speed as well. If we gear it the same, we'll have a good gauge on whether it was the same. So we're at 2858 10.5, so we still lost a tenth. Well, say a tenth, you know, a couple of hundreds at the very minimum. Braking also, we've lost 2 feet, it says. So it says it's worse. We're going to keep everything the same, yeah? Look, everything. Well, what did we have the springs on? So we had 700, didn't we? Well, it's obviously slightly heavier. It's increased it, but we'll just put it the same. We'll give it a fair shot. There you go. Same. So let's compare the V8 to the flat 6. So we had 4 laps just into, I think, wouldn't we? We had 4 laps. 129.3. So it says, what was it, 128.9, so it says it's 4 tenths slower on a lap with the V8. Let's see. Struggling to remember what we got. We'll have to check. I don't think I can, but you'll have to check. So let's go round. Feels nice. Feels a little bit more stable, if anything. Soaking up them bumps. Oh, we've gone deep. Okay, we've gone deep. Well, this is a warm-up lap. Put some heat into the tyres. As you can see, look, all the tyres close up at the exits. All the tyres. All the corners close up at the exit. Feels nice. I like the sound of it with the V8, to be fair. Sacrilegious to Porsche enthusiasts. Right. Come on, who wouldn't want a V8 in a Porsche? Especially one that sounded like this. To be fair, the Porsche is a high rev engine, it does sound good. I do have one. Which one you might have to guess. Oh, running out to the limit there. Right, let's go. Fast lap. Tune feels nice, to be honest. Feels a little bit heavier on the brakes. It feels more controlled. Just let it roll round. Go second. Try not to lose the back like that too much. Probably went down a little late. Early bend. It's somewhat nicer in areas, but it also, you can feel that time just slipping away a little bit like there. I mean, I know I didn't get out there sweet every time last time, but let's see what the lap time does. It feels faster down here. It's at 164. And keeping a tight, tidy line. Look, use the grass, help yourself with a bit of rotation there on a freebie. Look, cut as much as you can. A bit of smoke there. Late brake on the whiteboard. Got that up there. This was heavier, a bit more of a slow down effect. So don't be afraid to use high gears for control either, especially for manual. Most of my cars are geared down in a way where you won't really lose much time for early shifting, because it'll still pull like a train. Look, fourth gear around here, we'll just leave until the third. No problem. Into second nice and early there, just get the roll round, try and apply a bit of throttle early. Late apex, not that late. Pushed on out of there nice though. Made up for the late apex, for the late apex. Slightly up. I actually think this has been quicker. I'm thinking it was 27.9 or 27. But run it out. Nicely done, look. Yeah, fourth having a little slip there. Pretty consistently at 27s, so that is it with the V8. Pick your poison. You want high revving V8 or fairly high revving flat 6? Gotta say the V8 sounded nicer. Felt more purposeful. Again, you can adjust it. But yeah, that's the Porsche GT3 round the new track at Brands Hatch. So hope you've enjoyed the video. Like I say, we're going to be doing a BMW M4 competition. If you want to see a car tuned, you want to see how we set one up, GT, touring car, don't exactly love touring cars so much, but touring car, GT car, whatever you want to see, we'll put a tune on it. Formula 1 car, we'll put a tune on it. Set me a challenge, and we'll create a video and we'll learn how to tune all the different cars. So hope you've enjoyed this one, enjoyed making it, and I'll try and get to you probably in the next few days with another BMW one. And yeah, let us know in the comments if you want to see anything else. Thanks for watching. Just remember, when the clutch drops, the bullshit stops. Take care, guys. See you soon.
Your instructor is one of the finest pilots this program has ever produced. His exploits are legendary. What he has to teach you may very well mean the difference between life